Alrighty, what is up guys? It is Bazza here today, back with another video. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Really excited today's video. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be going over my 2022 predictions that I did at the start of this year, and we're going to be reflecting and reviewing them today. See how far I was off, and yeah, I guess to really compare what some of my expectations and predictions were for the start of the year and how they actually turned out based on the end of the season ladder after round 23. So I will preface this by saying I never actually made a video on my predictions because I didn't have this channel at the time. So I just did my own personal predictions. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it that these were actually done at the start of the season. I've literally just got them on a notepad here because I did plan to make this channel earlier and I was gonna use this for a video, but never got around to doing it. Nonetheless, we can still go over them here as a reflection. So yeah, make sure you guys drop a like, all that. I really appreciate it. Huge shout out to all the people that have been coming onto the channel. The Carlton Collingwood match day vlog got a lot of views, and a bunch of you new guys have come along from that video. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, if you enjoy the content and all that, make sure you subscribe. All right, so in the 18th spot, I predicted Hawthorne. I guess my thinking around this was new coach. I think they were sort of going to decline more than they did last year. So that ended up being wrong. They obviously finished the season here with 8 wins and 14 losses. So they definitely exceeded my expectations. But I think, yeah, this was a lot lower than most people probably thought Hawthorne were going to finish. 18th, obviously, is 5 spots off there, finishing in 13th. So yeah, Hawthorne actually did pretty well in this season. I think they got 1 extra win than last year under Clarko, so already a bit of improvement there in terms of the wins. So 18, not like a super terrible prediction, like, sort of relatively, in that bottom 6 area, but, still quite a way off. So yeah, that was Hawthorne at number 18. Sorry, Hawthorne fans, for doubting you guys. So yeah, not too bad of a season. All right, so moving on to 17th here, we have North Melbourne, and this I was only 1 position off. North obviously finished 18th here, going 2 and 20 for the season. So yeah, really bad season. There's really no other way to describe it for North fans. Not too far off. I thought they were gonna do a little bit better, but yeah, 2 years with a wooden spoon in a row. So yeah, a little disappointing there, I guess, for North fans, but sort of what I expected, to be honest. But yeah, not a bad prediction there. Moving on from 17th, in my 16th position, I predicted the West Coast Eagles, and the West Coast Eagles finished in 18th. Sorry, 17th, not 18th. So 1 position off there as well. Not too bad there. Yeah, I think they just did even worse than I predicted. But this is honestly, reflecting back on this, I don't think many people thought Eagles were going to drop off this much of a cliff. So I'm actually sort of happy about how that prediction turned out there. Yeah, obviously only being 1 off. They've just had a really bad season. I look at their season and sort of, it reminds me of Collingwood season last year. Just sort of around that top 8, 9th to sort of 7th position, and just completely fell off after that. And yeah, again, same as North, finishing the season with 2 wins and 20 losses, and a pretty low percentage as well with 59.8. But yeah, that's it. 17th, so Hawthorne, North Melbourne, West Coast. And for my 15th position, I predicted the Adelaide Crows. So another one here, not too far off. Adelaide obviously predicting, actually finished in 14th position. So pretty close there again. The bottom 4 here on my part, actually not too bad of a prediction. My thinking process around the Adelaide Crows was, just another one of those sort of rebuild years, getting into the swing of things. I think Matthew Nix, how long's he been there? 2 or 3 years now. Still a very young list. And I thought they'd do a little bit better than they did in 2021. And they obviously did there. So yeah, not a bad prediction there. A little bit, but I think that's probably a success. 15th, we take that. Not a bad prediction. Only 1 position off again there. So not bad at all. All right, so this is where this is probably my first bad prediction here. And this was Richmond for 14th is what I had here in my personal predictions. And as we know, they're finishing the finals in 7th, so that's 7 positions off. I thought they were just completely done. I think, yeah, my thinking process was this team has sort of had their run, and they were probably just going to continue to slowly drop down the ladder. But boy, was I wrong. I mean, Richmond this year look a really, really good and young side. They got a bunch of new players. They've replaced a bunch of their retiring players that have left. I think they've got Noah Cumberlands. They've got the Riolis. They got Shai Bolton, Liam Baker. So yeah, they've got some really good young players there, and they've sort of just, yeah, they almost look a new team with that old, Richmond DNA that they've had the last 3 or 4 years. And yeah, they definitely exceeded my expectations, finishing in 7th position. And who knows what they can do in this final series. So for 13th position, moving on here, we have the GWS Giants. This was another one that was, look, I didn't really expect Giants to do much. I thought they were really, really lucky to get into the finals last year, and I did expect them to drop. Whilst I was right with that, 13th was a little bit off there. They've had a much worse season than I thought they would have, because like if you look at their list, they've got so many good players. They've got experienced players. They've got players that obviously played in a grand final and that have played many, many final series. But yeah, from what they finished, I think 8th last year or 7th last year. But yeah, I feel like their season's gone way under the radar in terms of how actually bad it is. I feel like West Coast and North have definitely taken all the attention there. But yeah, Giants in 13th, 3 positions off there, not terrible, not the best. Yeah, so moving into the 12th spot prediction here at the Gold Coast Suns, and this was actually a correct prediction. This was right, bang on. They finished 12th in, I believe, yeah, their best season. I think previously 14th was their best placement. So pretty happy about this one. I think, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say, I think most people would have thought Gold Coast were, again, going to be a bottom 4 or a wooden spoon side. But they definitely had some really good patches this year. They had some good wins. Again, they got themselves in a finals position this year, and they could have honestly made it, but they really let themselves down, losing a few of those games that they should have just won. But yeah, I think, well, this is obviously where I expected them to be, and it turned out that way. So we'll see what they do next year. Moving on to 11th here, we have Fremantles. So wow, this one, this was looking like it was going to be really, really bad at the start of the season when Freo won. I think they won 7 or 8 games in a row, and it was looking like they were going to finish, 1-2 with Melbourne. They obviously dropped off a little bit, and they ended up finishing 5th here. So 6 positions off, not terrible. Oh yeah, I'm guilty of probably just underestimating Freo's potential and just sort of putting him in the middle of the pack sort of area there. But yeah, they've had a really good season. They're back in the finals for the first time since 2015. And I think Freo fans are going to be really, really happy about that one. Well, here's where it gets really, really interesting, because for 10th, I had the Collingwood Magpies. And we all know how this season's gone. We've absolutely exceeded expectation here. We won 11 in a row. And from what I predicted to be 10th, from a bottom or 17th place season last year, I would have been well and truly happy with 10th. And I think even predicting 10th was absolutely higher than 99% of predictions for Collingwood this year. So yeah, I think I was more on the ambitious side for the predictions in terms of where Collingwood may have finished. But even then, with 10th, I was still way off. Obviously, Collingwood finishing in 4th, just scraping into that top 4 there. Or not even scraping in, won themselves that top 4 position. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy I'm wrong here as a Pies fan. But yeah, wow, it's quite amazing looking back at these predictions, because I would have been super happy with 10th. But yeah, they finished 4th. That is amazing. And yeah, a prediction there that's probably one of my predictions that was the most off out of all of them so far. Yeah, finishing 10th there. Moving on to 9th position, I had the Sydney Swans. Now, the Swans, I thought, they did really, really good last year. And I thought they were going to be one of those teams that probably just, because they were a young side, I thought maybe they just wouldn't be able to keep it going for another full season. And just have one of those lower down seasons before they bounce, back up into the finals contentions. But yeah, I was definitely wrong with that. They've absolutely backed up what they did last year, and I think they've had a better season than last year, actually, finishing in third. Yeah, last season they obviously played off in that elimination final with GWS. So yeah, much better season for the Swans. They kept the momentum going, and yeah, another semi-poor prediction, 6 positions off. We take that. So moving up into the top 8 here. For my 8th position, I had the Geelong Cats. So yeah, this was, you know, one of those seasons where I think a lot of us here, and I probably got, I guess, pulled into the idea that Geelong were going to drop off. And of course, as usual, they defy all odds. And for what, 10 years in a row here, they're going to make finals or something ridiculous like that. I mean, not even just finals. They've made top 4 again. And this year, they're well ahead of the pack, finishing, what, 2 wins above on the ladder there. So yeah, 8th. Yeah, 7 positions off there. So not a great prediction. Moving on to 7th. Oh god, this is the worst one by far so far. Actually, oh, it might not be just looking at it here, but wow, I feel like an idiot saying this. Essendon for 7th position, and what did they finish? 15th. So 8 spots off there. I don't know why I thought Essendon. It's funny that I said, or it's funny that I predicted Swans to sort of drop off for the reason of them being a young side. Yet I predicted Essendon to go 7th when, you know, the fact that they made finals last year was ridiculous on 11 wins. And, you know, Essendon as well, a fairly young side. I think one of the youngest in the league. But yeah, 7th, wow, that was a really, really mad prediction there. Completely off, and I don't know why I did that. I don't even know what my thought process was around that. But yeah, no, that was way off. Essendon have had a terrible year on and off the field. So yeah, not a great prediction. We'll see how they go next year. Moving into our top 6 here. For 6th, I had Port Adelaide. So Port Adelaide, I don't know. I never really had any faith in them the last few years when they'd been finishing in that top 4. They always bombed out in finals, and I was sort of thinking here that they were just not going to be up to it again for another season and would drop off. And whilst they did drop off here in my prediction, obviously in 6th, they dropped off a lot more than I anticipated, and they finished in 11th here. So 5 positions off. Not amazing. Yeah, just another one. It's just a bang average season for Port Adelaide, to be honest. Like, they've been just middle of the pack. You know, they're not one of those teams that got ran over in games, but and they were competitive in most of their games actually against the higher, you know, ranked sides. They've had a lot of close losses. You know, 2 or 3 goals. Also Geelong by 2 goals, and you know that was a, you know, Geelong obviously ending up being a top side. So yeah, they've had some good games. They've been competitive, but just not being able to get over the line in those games they really should have won, which ultimately would have got them into finals if they were to win those 2, 3, 4 games like that. So yeah, 6th position for Port Adelaide. Not amazing again there. But this next one here, you know what? Whilst this ended up to be a terrible prediction, for 5th, I had the Carlton Blues. Now, this was looking like it was going to be a bang-on prediction. I was so happy about this earlier in the season because I was obviously reflecting on this during the year. And there was a stage where Carlton were in between 2nd and 6th and 4th and 5th. And I thought, you know what? This may actually be the perfect prediction here. Finally, you know, we've predicted the right season for Carlton to actually finally jump in to that finals contention and, you know, be well and truly, you know, stuck in the finals, as a lot of people have been predicting these last few years. And that obviously faded away really, really quickly, as we know there. Carlton going on to lose their last 4 games. But I would say for 16, 17 rounds of the season, this was going to be a really good prediction here. Moving on to our 4th position here that I predicted, and this was St Kilda. So St Kilda, this is another one that looks like it was going to be a pretty good prediction by my part for probably the first part of the season. And then, yeah, St Kilda just dropped off after the bye there. I don't even know what there really is to explain and why that happens, but ending in 10th position here with 11 and 11 for wins. Yeah, just just again, another really underwhelming finish for St Kilda. Should have been playing finals, didn't end out that way, so that was a terrible prediction for 4th there. 7 off the mark. And moving on to our next one here, we have the Western Bulldogs in 3rd position. Another just underwhelming season for another team you really expected to be up and around the mark this year in that top 4. They've been so unlucky to miss the top 4, the Western Bulldogs, the last 2 or 3 years, and arguably should have made it. I mean, they didn't even make it in their premiership year, so take it for that. I mean, the Western Bulldogs supporters, they know what they can do, and they've gotten into 8th here by the Pies giving them a second chance here, so we'll see what they can do. Yeah, 3rd, 5 off here, but yeah, just really thought the Western Bulldogs were going to be right up there again, and I feel like they will be next year. They've got a great list, and I don't see them dropping off, like off the cliff. But this is AFL we're talking about, and who really knows? So yeah, for my 2nd position, guys, we have another correct bang on prediction here, and this was Melbourne for 2nd. So I think that makes it, what is it? 2 correct predictions here. Gold Coast, Melbourne, for my correct predictions. So we'll take that. Not too bad. Would have liked a few more, but yeah, Melbourne, they've had a really good season. I think there was a point in the season where, people thought Melbourne weren't really going to be around there, but these last month even, they've really gotten themselves back into the mojo and the swing of things. And I think they've actually had a better season in terms of points scored and points defended overall for the season. So Melbourne, they're in as good a position as they have been in this last few years. So, and obviously, that leaves only one team left for my number 1 prediction for 1st position, and that was the Brisbane Lions. I thought the Brisbane Lions were going to have that season where they finally actually made something with the opportunity that they put themselves in every single year, finishing in the top 4. This year, they obviously missed the top 4. They've just been probably what you'd call, I think, a failed season, at least, if you're from a Brisbane supporter POV. I mean, they've done nothing with the chances they've had the last 3 or 4 years, and it's great that Chris Fagan's been able to get them from the bottom. But yeah, I don't know. As a Brisbane fan, I'd be quite disappointed because who knows? They may have already had the best opportunity that they're going to get for a long time these last few years, and it may not be. It may well as turn out to be, sort of downhill from here. Who really knows? I highly doubt that would happen. But this year, you doubt they're going to do anything from, what was it, 6th position, I think they finished? Yeah, in 6th position. They haven't been able to do anything in top 4, so if they were to go ahead and make a damage in this final series from outside the top 4, it would be truly remarkable. But yeah, guys, that is it for my ladder prediction review and my reaction to my 2022 ladder predictions. If you did have your own, of course, leave them down below. I'd be super interested to hear what you guys were doing. And yeah, I'm going to make a video in probably a month's time after the grand final and probably after the preseason about my 2023 ladder predictions. But yeah, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.